All right, let's cut through the noise here. Right? Everyone loves the idea of renovation loans, turning a fixer-up into a dream home with built-in renovation financing stretched out over the 30-year fix. Sounds great, right? You've heard me talk about it for years, okay? But here's the truth that no one wants to talk about. I'm gonna take the gloves off on this one. No sales pitch, just the real, unfiltered truth around what's broken, who's to blame, and how to actually make it work, okay? So I'm going to take the long way around. Stay with me. According to the NAR, north of 90% of all home sales, the seller side, involve private citizens, right? Either through an agent or via, for sale by owner. The most recent data indicates that investors, including both large institutions and small entities, account for 25% of home purchases, right? A large part of this being sort of your mom and pop landlord or speculators, if you will, indicating that 75% of all purchases are private U.S. citizens or families or potential families, i.e. our American dream chasers. Okay. As of 2024, approximately 17% of U.S. renters are now considered homeownership ready, meaning they have sufficient income to afford the median price starter home without their mortgage payments exceeding 25% of their monthly incomes, right? So in numerical terms, with an estimated 15 million renter households in the U.S., that's about 8.5 million that are currently financially prepared to purchase a home. Okay. For sake of this discussion, let's call the combination of those two groups potential home buyers, right? Potential homeowners, if you will, right? These people are sellers that I talked about previously, and potential homeowners make up the overwhelming majority of the housing activity. That's the point I'm trying to make. In other words, these are our customers, right? Now, what sellers tend to want most when you query them, is the highest price possible in no particular order, but I'm probably in the right order. The highest price possible, within a reasonable closing time frame, right? And then fair fees for services, i.e. commissions and closing costs, right? So that's your seller. Among the top things that potential homeowners want is, and this, you can look at a bunch of different studies, you'll see the same, top five, right? But amongst the top three is affordability. I want to be able to afford it, right? Location, I want to be where I'm picking out a spot in the United States where I want to live, and then reliability or up-to-date features. They don't want things to break, right? So considering more than 65% of America's housing stock was built pre-1990, and the average cost of a home improvement project has risen significantly over the last 15 years, updating and customization is a likely part of the home buying process. It's gonna happen, right? And it's become way more expensive, of late, right? So if you see where I'm going, I'm sort of setting up a method here, or the way things are. Now, standing in the middle between our two types of customers, our sellers and our buyers, is the housing industry. That's us, whose primary actors are real estate professionals, lenders, and then I throw in speculators and investors in that mix, standing in between sellers and buyers. Here's the problem. Considering that everyone knows what the top needs are, I just went over with them for both of our customers, our sellers and buyers, these primary actors are unwilling to recognize, educate, and offer the most appropriate advice and direction when the need arises. Think about that. Instead, they offer what's most convenient and comfortable advice for themselves, not the customer. Here's what I mean, all right? And I'll sample this illustrate for you, right? If I need to sell my house that happens to be a bit outdated, and I don't have the money, nor would it make sense to renovate it first, there's a high likelihood, that the agent I hire to list this house will, one, limit my buying audience by keeping primary owner occupants who will pay more off the table for consideration, right? Particularly if they want to do renovation, right? They will act as the gatekeeper, convincing you to accept the offers most convenient for them, not you, right? They'll market the house to investors or cash-only buyers, a very small demographic, by the way, convincing you that they'll close quicker, right? And then they'll fail to market the house with what could be, that would attract more potential buyers, right? Investor cash only being a small audience, everyone being a wide audience, right? Using AI renderings and, of the space or predetermined renovation budgets, things like that, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is this results in you accepting lower offers as the seller and walking away, in some cases, with much less money, right? So that's the sales side. That's what's happening, right? Not really a good thing, Now with potential buyers, the professional apathy is a little bit more concerning in my opinion, because your buyer's agents, if they are not also the listing agent in this case, understands the influence being weaponized over the seller, right? And what offers get accepted, so mortgages that allow you to include repairs or upgrades or customization, which is safest for our buyer, even if they, even if things need to be done sometimes, are frowned upon and suppressed, right? So what that means is you will exhaust all of your savings on down payment and closing costs and have no way of making those upgrades or repairs unless you take out another loan to do so post-closing, or as a second, or as some sort of unsecured, credit card-ish debt. Lenders and agents with a smile on their face will tell you all the wonderful things you can do after you buy the house, which is code for after I'm paid, right? By the way, if you put down minimum, let's say 3 to 5%, you have very little options to further finance improvements in using the house as collateral, right? And if you do happen to find one out there, it's almost always considerably more expensive than had you thrown those repairs in the 30-year fix to begin with, right? On average, your payment's just going to end up a whole lot more, right? So I guess the point here is I'm not trying to discourage you, nor am I assigning sort of a writ large unethical agenda to every agent or lender you come across. This is just a slippery slope, seldomly talked about progression in this industry that, this industry has found itself in, the renovation lending industry for that matter, right? Now, I've spent over 27 years in the real estate customization space. I've coached thousands of industry professionals. I've assisted thousands of buyers who seek to include home improvement in their purchases. I've written hundreds of pieces, and I've recorded countless amounts of content like this. I've also traveled to every state in the country, with the express purpose of giving our agents and lenders and sellers and buyers and home improvement contractors, a way to recognize affordable solutions for these situations. I am recognized as one of the nation's leading experts on home loans featuring renovation financing, right? So to my buyers out there, don't be led down someone else's primrose path here. Be smart about kind of who you work with, and which properties you choose, because every home you see is in play when you think about it, right? Any home in any condition, practically to anyone, so because every home you see is in play, regardless of its condition, I can teach you how to customize that house, put down very little of the two numbers combined, and keep the equity for yourself, right? That's what investors do. They buy and they fix it up and they sell it to us for the higher price, right? But to my sellers, if you don't have the time or money to repair and or upgrade, the house that you're looking to sell, understand that primary owner occupants will typically pay a lot more than cash-only investors, and your listing agent is the cash-only investor pay a lot more than the cash-only investor your listing agent is insisting you go with, right? And close just as quickly, really, in my opinion, right? And to my industry professionals, perhaps a little obvious and cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway. I mean, You get what you want when your customers get what they want, man. Listen, my rant is over here. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Folks, you know where to find me. Just Google Sean Thompson Renovation. I am literally everywhere. Or visit renoloans.net, RENOLOANS.net. Good luck. I'll see you soon.